Hi, this is Josh Williams with Advanced MMA at Ronin Training Center. With me today, I've got Brandon Loring, and off camera, we've got Skylar Bray. He'll be joining us shortly. We're going to pick up where we left off with the Kickstand series, and we're going to start approaching some passes, how to set up our passes, and more importantly, where we're transitioning from once we hit our pass. So the very first one we're going to look at is once I've gotten control of this guy's hands. Now we'll take a quick step back. Let's say that I didn't end up down. Like if I was down and Brandon had some sort of control, I would have to work on stripping the grip, building a base, controlling his hands, and working from there. We're going to assume now from here, I've already gotten my head and my hands free. I haven't built my base yet, but I've got to get control of Brandon's hands. Now, this is a game in MMA that we deal with, and that is Brandon going to be fighting grips to get control of my hands, or is he going to be defending his face or his body? If I'm not making him defend, then he's going to be attacking. All right, that's just an inevitability. If I'm resting, if I'm posting, if I'm doing anything, I got to assume that Brandon's going to be hunting, looking for grips to set up his game off bottom in order to work a sweep or submission. So I either have to be attacking to where Brandon has to make up his mind that he has to defend his face, defend his body, rather than grip fight. Or if I'm not going to be attacking him and making him cover, then I'm actively seeking to win the same grips he's looking for. Okay? So rather than if I'm not hitting him here, I don't want to just be sitting to where Brandon's getting grips on me. If I'm not hitting, I'm going for grips on him. Okay? So either way, if I'm on top, I'm in control. Okay? Now, if we're here, I'm going to land some shots to get him covered in the head. Theoretically, this isn't super good for me because I don't want to have my arms outstretched when I start to build my kickstand. I want his hands closer to his body. So I'll get him to cover, but just like we strike standing up, if I can get him to cover to his head, I'll drop a hard shot to his body. Okay? Even if he keeps his hands up to his head after I land one good one to his body, if he doesn't bring those hands down, I'm going to keep going to the body until he does. Okay? He can defend his head all day, but if he's going to allow me to start landing hard power shots trying to knock the wind out of him, I guarantee he changes his mind. At some point, his hands and or elbows come down to block his body, and I switch my grip. I want my hands closer to his belt and hip line. Okay? Once I'm here, load. Once my hips are in, right? Keep in mind, that's when my hips come forward and my hands let go. I don't need my hands anymore for a post. Once I'm up to here, I start landing my shots until Brandon releases his guard and folds a little bit. Now, again, watch. When he folded, his hips dropped a tiny bit. Here, his hips come down, creating space between our hips. If I don't follow with my pressure when Brandon drops and I allow that space to happen, this is where guys can swim in. Start looking for de la Rivas, looking for sweeps, looking for all kinds of stuff. Leg lock attempts. So from here, I've hit him enough to where his guard breaks and he folds a little bit, and when he comes, my hips follow his. At this point, I've got a little bit more control. I push my hips forward so I can get control of the ankles. Now, next tip before we go into the pass itself. When I start to turn Brandon's legs to one side or another, I want to turn his hips away. But I can't do it completely at the ankles. If I try to throw his legs over completely at the ankles, he can swim that with the knee. The knee and the leg can swim right back in again, if he's got any kind of flexibility or dexterity with his legs. So it's important that once I get his feet in front, I get control with my hands. Once I cross center line, I start walking my hands down like I'm walking down a rope. So this hand's on his ankle, the other hand comes down to his knee, the other hand comes down to his hip. So I walk right down his leg in order to prevent him from turning that knee and hip back towards me. All right? At this point, I'm good to pass. I can either go in my leg weave or I can come out to the side and work more of a knee on belly sort of situation. Okay? So, we're here. I'm going to land a couple of shots, get him to start to cover, work his body until his hands come down, get control, post. He carries my weight in the kickstand. Notice my knees are in front of my feet. I don't want my feet in front of my knees or
right there, where Brandon can just reach out and grab my ankles and hit a sweep. All right? My hips in, my knees are in front of my feet. I land my shots until Brandon's guard opens a tiny bit. Push the hips forward, feed, break center line, walk it down, come out to knee on belly, look to start landing strikes from on top. One more time. I've got my hands free. Initially, I've already gotten my posture up. I start landing my shots, work his body until his hands drop, get control of his hands, keep control. Weight comes in, post, post. Once I get the kickstand initiated, hips come forward, hands come up. Now I do damage. When his guard breaks, I can hit the same pass we've been doing where I feed and work from the side. But there are cases where this guy folds up so much that I can literally just sit on him, keeping his knees pinned to his chest. From here, he won't have a whole lot of energy or power that he can exert. I can land some good shots. And essentially what's going to end up happening is he's going to start bucking like crazy to get me off. And he folds me right into a better position. That's the first step.